Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We will be continuing our journey with the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. It's been a while. I think the last thing that happened was that we found out that there was another person at the table, and then they finally believed Naruhodo, so we're actually going to meet this mystery lady. So without further ado, let's begin. Alright, so 22nd of November, 11:38 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, Defendants, Antechamber 5. Oh, Kazuma. Let me see if I remember what voice I gave him. Excellent work, Rinosuke. That was superb. My heart was in my mouth the entire time. It was almost unbelievable. I mean, looking at you in there, you were drenched in sweat, your eyes popping, your knees knocking, and you were grinding your teeth. It was a grim sight, but before I knew it, you started finding inconsistencies in your testimonies. I think you might have a natural talent for being a lawyer. Why, thank you! Forget it, it's terrifying. If I get through this, I don't ever want to see the inside of a courtroom again. Anyway, it looks like we've exposed your phantom lady at last. Miss Giselle Brett. A student from Great Britain, is she? That's what I was trying to tell everyone from the start. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone. There was a young woman with him, like I've been saying all along. Yes, you have, haven't you? I might not be overly confident in the courtroom, but my powers of observation are one thing I am sure of. Yes, I can see that. So about this young gentlewoman. Thanks to our detective friend, she was hastily escorted away from the scene, it seems. Did you see what happened with that? No. I didn't see any of it. I was just on my way out of the restaurant myself. Then on the floor next to Dr. Wilson's table, I noticed there was a gun lying on the floor. And just after I bent down and picked it up. So wrong place, wrong time? So I'm guessing this person, it was like a more of like an opportunistic kind of framing? Cause like, how did she know he was gonna be there to frame? I'm guessing she just like hoped that someone would walk by and like pick up the gun, and then that person would be framed, I guess. Is what I'm guessing happened. Unless, for some reason, Rinosuke has someone that's like hates him or something. But I don't know, it doesn't seem likely. I didn't have time to think about where the sound of the gunshot had come from. The waiter ran over to me, looking as white as a sheet. And he bundled me into some sort of a small pantry next to the kitchen. Fast thinking, my detective. He apprehended his suspect without a moment's delay. Yes, and because I was shut in the pantry, I have no idea what happened outside in the dining area. Oh, I'm guessing this is his teacher. I forgot his name. What voice did I give him? I think I gave him like that Benoit Blanc, or like the Foghorn Leghorn like type of like accent. Let me see if I remember. Ah, there you are. Well done, both of you. I'll get better if I remember it. Professor Mikotoba. Well, it seems I was right. The pair of you make an outstanding team. You've exceeded my expectations, I have to say. Yes, it seems you planned this from the start. You arranged things so that I wouldn't be able to act as a lawyer in the trial. Our modern country is still in its infancy. Our justice system even more so. Which is why I firmly believe that we need to send our brightest young stars overseas to learn all they can. I wanted to avoid a situation that may have resulted in your study tour to Great Britain being cancelled. Well, it makes no difference. Lawyer or otherwise, if I'm the kind of man who can't help his best friend avert the worst crisis of his life, I shouldn't waste everyone's time by going to study overseas anyway. Aww. Kazuma's a really good friend. Strive to have a friend like Kazuma.
What? What are you saying, Kazuma?
So that's your stance. I was afraid you'd feel that way.
Kazuma?
Well then, it looks like it all comes down to you, young man.
To me?
Yes, you need to prove your innocence and uncover what really took place in that restaurant. I must say, I very much want to know the truth. After all, I have a personal connection to this case.
Come to think of it, he said the same thing earlier this morning, didn't he? If you don't mind me asking, Professor, did you know the victim?
Yes, I did. As you're probably aware, Dr. John H. Wilson was a visiting professor at UMA, and it was I who invited him. Oh, maybe he feels guilty. It wasn't his, it wasn't anyone's fault. It's just random. But I mean, I guess he feels that way.
Oh, I see.
I didn't know that before. Anyway, you're about to go into battle. The victim was a university professor from Great Britain and a well-known one at that. Naturally, our government is looking to identify and punish the culprit as quickly as possible. But let's not forget who we're up against. The gentlewoman whose involvement our police bureau went to extraordinary lengths to hide. Yes, and I'm sure the prosecution will be using every tool at their disposal to quash your case. But I've no doubt that you pair will put up a good fight, right to the last. Best of luck, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Now then, I need you to run an errand at the university at once. There's something I think we may need. What voice did I give her? I don't remember. I don't think I gave her a British voice. I think she wouldn't have the same accent either. I don't know if that's her dad or not, but I don't think she would have the same accent. I'll give her like a nice soft voice. But a serious one too.
Of course. Good luck, Kazuma-sama.
I'll give her like a proper voice.
Defendant Naruhodo, court recess is over. Please make your way back inside the courtroom at once.
It's time. Let's get back to it, partner. Let's go in there and deal a decisive blow. Before those old fossils know what's hit them.
Kazuma?
What?
Thank you. Really.
What for?
Well, if you hadn't said you believed in me, then I'm fairly sure I'd already been found guilty by now.
Look, I have faith in you. As a lawyer and as a friend.
Coming from you, that means a lot.
Oh.
If I'm found guilty in this trial, he's really gonna give up on his dream of studying abroad. That's the kind of true friend he is. So this isn't just my battle anymore. Whoever we're up against, we absolutely cannot afford to lose.
That's right, Ryunosuke.
Alright then. I'll save the thank yous for after the trial.
You can treat me to one of those sukiyaki meals I like from the Yume cafeteria on University Street. With an extra large portion, of course. He's a good friend. I like their friendship. 22nd of November. 12:09 p.m. Supreme Court of Judicature. Courtroom 2. Gotta remember these guys' voices. I think I gave him like an older, like, surly British voice. The court hereby resumes the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Prosecutor Ouchi, have you managed to subpoena the witness? I think, oh, I remember his voice. I gave him like the Mandark voice, the nasally one.
Yes, Your Excellency, against all odds. And thanks to a certain young stripling, the prosecution is now under a rather painful scrutiny from the government.
Sorry.
Let the government scrutinize. That's their job. It's nothing to worry about.
It's highly unlikely that the good relations we forged with Great Britain will emerge from this trial unscathed. Will you still think it's nothing to worry about when the new treaty breaks down and our nation flounders?
Wait, does that say founders? Did they mean flounders? Founders doesn't make sense. Alright, I think it was flounders, but okay.
Again, terribly sorry.
If the friendship between our nations is really so fragile, then the treaty isn't worth the paper it's written on. Damn, bars. You get him, Kazuma. You really have nothing to worry about, Ryunosuke.
What do you mean?
A secret trial, anxiety over some foreign government's opinions, a bungled investigation, missing witnesses. If this is what our nation's justice system is this the Supreme Court of Japan or of England? Damn, you let him know, Kazuma. Let him know.
Shut up, you jumped up rookie boy. You and your friend know nothing. Nothing of the situation our nation finds itself in.
Neither do you.
By aligning ourselves with its great world power, we'll become strong. Diplomacy has never been more critical. Steady political maneuvering is what will secure our futures.
I won't deny that I'm no expert, I'm just a student, and one who could arguably study harder too. But standing here now in our Supreme Court, there is one thing I feel very strongly. A country that fails to uphold the truth in its justice system is a country with no future at all.
Wow, go Naruhodo, you let him know. That's right, that's our boy. Well said, Ryunosuke. Despite the wide-eyed look of terror.
You little brats.
Thank you, Counsel. This court is the pinnacle of our nation's justice system, and exists solely for the pursuance of truth. With that in mind, this trial will now resume with the next witness taking the stand. The visiting student from Great Britain, Miss Giselle Brett.
Yes. Your Excellency!
What the hell? What are you wearing?
Well, what a delight it is to welcome such a fine gentlewoman to Japan, and from such a distant land.
Tea. Someone bring English tea. It's in England. No discussion takes place without tea.
Is that true?
No idea.
So, could we possibly trouble you to state your name and occupation for the court?
What? Of course, my name is Satoru Hasanaga. I have been working undercover as the head waiter at the Carnival, but
Yes, we know all about you already.
Inspector Hosonaga, where are your manners?
In England, it's always ladies first. Is that true?
No idea. That's amazing. More importantly, a little earlier today, you said something to me. You said your powers of observation are the one thing you're sure of.
Oh yes, I think I did, didn't I?
Yet your description for this amazing sight was simply a woman. You know what, Naruhodo? He's got a point. He's got you there. Like, she's literally wearing a bird on her head. Like, that's not even subtle, man. Sorry, Renosuke, but powers of observation aside, your powers of description are sorely lacking. Right.
Guilty.
So, dear lady, once again, if we may trouble you for your name and occupation, please.
Okay. What the hell? I don't speak italics. What language is this?
I'm terribly sorry, dear lady, but what?
Yeah, they're both speaking italics. Great. Oh my god. The lady says her name is Giselle Brett. She comes from London, England. She's a visiting research student, certainly enrolled in Yuma University's medical faculty.
Oh my, what a rare treat to hear the dulcet tones of the delightful language of the British people. I'm afraid I don't understand a word you said, but it was as beautiful as a hummingbird's song.
I don't think hummingbirds have a song, to be honest. As far as I can tell. The detective is translating her words faithfully enough.
Yes, I agree. You'll obviously do fine in England, Kazuma. Her English doesn't rattle you at all, does it?
Nor you. You've clearly been paying attention in your English classes, Renosuke.
The court thanks the beautiful lady for taking the stand. Now, if we may trouble you to confirm something, Miss Brett. 3 days ago, at a restaurant called Le Carnival, a grim murder took place. The court has been led to believe that you were dining there with the victim, Dr. Wilson, at the time. Is that correct?
She says, yes. That's not all she said, you liar.
This could take some time.
So even though she's studying here in Japan, she can't speak any Japanese? Yeah, highly unlikely. I don't believe her. Alright, we get it. She'd like to apologize for disappearing from the scene. She says that she was due to make a presentation at the university, so she had to leave immediately. Interesting. When you're the one who engineered her escape. I was just following special orders from the Bureau.
Well now, dear lady, would you be so kind as to cast your eyes over this photographic print? Seeing as you were so unfortunately present at the scene of the crime, could it be that your resplendent eyes caught sight of the wicked perpetrator, perhaps?
Apparently, it was a very frightening and sorrowful sight.
Do you mean to say?
Yes, it would appear the lady did witness the crime. The very moment when the accused, standing right there in this courtroom, shot the victim in cold blood. You liar.
Order. Order in the court.
Did you hear that, Your Excellency? Here we have an absolutely conclusive witness statement.
Not really. The witness is the one who ran away, remember? Well, it looks like it's clear now. Clear who our real enemy is. Got that right, Kazuma.
Unfortunately, I'll have to ask you to formally testify, if you please. Kindly tell the court the exact nature of this frightening and sorrowful sight you described. Witness testimony. A frightening and sorrowful sight. I had arranged to meet for a slightly late luncheon with Dr. Wilson that day. The professor was unable to eat, so I ordered for myself only a beefsteak. After a while, the accused came over to greet the professor, and they got into a fierce argument. Then, not long afterwards, the accused took the professor's gun and shot him right before my eyes. I don't carry a gun myself, so obviously I couldn't have been the culprit. So we're supposed to take your word for it? No, that's not how that works. Sorry. This is condemning evidence. No, I didn't have any kind of argument with the professor at all.
Objection. Quiet, you filthy wretch. Look at you, you black-hearted blackguard. And look at this snow-white angel. I'm sure even a dark-minded scoundrel like you can imagine whose words the court is going to believe.
Wow, you're low-key racist. Damn. You're still making the same mistakes, Ryunosuke. You mustn't blurt out when you're goaded like that. That's a lesson you need to learn. Correct. Chill out, Ryunosuke. We got this.
But he's so annoying.
Of course, I was at the scene as well. I took statements from this lady and the two witnesses who testified before and reported back to the bureau. Oh, you mean the two witnesses that lied, that were paid to lie? Yeah, I remember them. It was decided that Miss Brett was not involved, so I let her go. Yeah, that's not how crimes work, though. You can't decide that. Yeah, that's not how that works. The testimonies of the last two witnesses were completely worthless, however. Yeah, remember that? The ones you paid off? Well, even so. On the day in question, the lady was wearing the same outfit as she is today. Gross. But also convenient. As you can see, there is nowhere about her person where she could conceal a firearm.
I would think she could hide a gun almost anywhere in that outfit if she wanted to.
Yeah, same.
Unless and until the precise location where the witnesses to have hidden a weapon can be shown, this is moot.
There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. Those are the witness's own words on the matter.
This is ridiculous. If only I was allowed to lift up her dress, I could prove it.
Whoa, Ryunosuke, you red card. Don't think about doing anything rash, Ryunosuke. He felt it. He felt those intrusive thoughts. He was like,
But I didn't fire that gun I picked up. There must have been another gun there that day.
You're right about that. Which means... Sorry, I went too fast. Which means this lady was hiding a gun somewhere. Yes, that's what we have to prove now. And to do so, we'll need to pull her testimony apart.
The defense may now cross-examine the witness. Oh, yes, Your Excellency.
Alright, let's do this.
I had arranged to meet for a slightly late luncheon with Dr. Wilson that day.
I'm just gonna start pressing stuff, because I want to know every detail.
After 2 p.m., in fact. That's really quite a late lunch, isn't it?
Objection. You don't keep up with the latest fashions from Britain, do you? Late luncheons are in vogue, isn't that right?
I find that hard to believe, that you're into fashion at all, from how you look or present yourself, buddy. Stay in your lane.
No.
Damn.
Uh,
A decisive English no has quite a sting to it. Yes, it does. The gentlewoman is currently working in the victim's research laboratory, it seems. So it was apparently a daily occurrence that they would eat lunch. That they would lunch together. But on the day in question, the victim had another appointment at the clinic first.
Yes, which we can prove for the medical report card that was submitted as evidence earlier.
That's right. Miss Brett and the victim went to lunch following the victim's treatment, which is why it was so late.
Yes, that all makes perfect sense.
Such wonderful logic. What a shining example of English intelligence this fine gentlewoman is.
So you both arrived at the restaurant. What happened next? The professor was unable to eat, so I ordered for myself only a beef steak. After a while, the accused came over to greet the professor and they got into a fierce argument. Let me press the beef steak on really quick.
He was unable to eat, you say? And that was because he had just had a tooth removed at Hada Clinic, correct?
That's right.
You're supposed to actually check with a witness before answering.
Miss Brett was aware of that fact? It seems so, yes. She'd heard that the professor was to have some dental treatment. Yeah, but she didn't know what kind, did she?
So that would mean that it was you who ate it was you who ate the steak pictured here. Is that right, Miss Brett?
That's right, yes. The print you have there shows the table exactly as it was left at the horrifying events.
Exactly as it was left.
Dear me, what a harrowing experience. To have traveled to a distant island on the far side of the world and be embroiled in such a tragic incident. Have no fear, my dear lady. I swear I will crush the evil fiend that has subjected you to this terrible plight.
So the victim, Dr. Wilson, had nothing to eat or drink at all? That's right, other than some carbonated water.
Just water.
Yes, the professor was unable to eat, but he had been given permission to drink water. So it appears that the diners toasted their lunch with a glass of water each.
They each raised a glass of carbonated water.
What do you think, Rinosuke, about this witness's last statement? It's very meaningful. Yes, definitely. Because that means that there should be 2 glasses. But the picture, I think, only shows 1, if I remember correctly.
That last statement of yours, Miss Brett, has a profound bearing on this case.
Well, how fascinating. Do tell us, what is this profound bearing, huh?
That is none of your business right now. She has to add it if I say so, so. The significance of the statement will become apparent when the time is right. The defense calls for the witness' last statement to be formally added to the testimony.
Well, sidestep, counsel.
Just move it along, Aoshi. Damn.
Very well, Miss Brett. Kindly repeat what you just said to be added to your official testimony.
Gladly, she said.
That was brilliant, Kazuma. I'm gonna remember that one.
Which one?
The significance will become apparent when the time is right. I could really use that phrase.
Ugh. I'd hope there are some more useful tips you're picking up from this experience than that, Rinosuke. I ordered a beef steak for myself and the professor, and I said cheers over a glass of carbonated water. Okay, I think I have to present the picture now. Not this one. This one. This one.
That's it. Let me just confirm something, please. It's to do with this photographic print. Just a short while ago, you spoke of this print showing the victim's table at the crime scene. That it was exactly as it was left.
That is correct, the lady says.
Well, it's odd. Very odd.
Dear me, what's odd is defense's inability to express itself.
Come on, Ryunosuke, just say what you mean.
Ugh.
Ryunosuke, what is it about the print that looks odd to you?
Well, obviously, it's the cheers.
That cheers.
Miss Brett just told us that she and the professor said cheers over a glass of water. But if that's true, there should be 2 glasses on the table, not 1.
Oh. You're quite right, Counsel. There's only 1 glass pictured here.
Objection. Are we supposed to be impressed by this nitpicking over our minutiae? What possible difference does the presence or absence of a glass make on the case?
Objection. Minutiae, you say? Could it be that the detective here removed a glass from the table to conceal the lady's presence? Of course not. I would never do something so reckless.
But there should have been 2 glasses on the table. Or are you going to try to tell me that you can clink with only 1?
You were quite right. I certainly took 2 glasses to the table. Inspector, what did the lady say? It would seem that it was Miss Brett who took the glass from the table.
What?
Wait.
What?
It was all so terrifying, everything that happened. I panicked and thought I should try to hide the fact that I'd been there at all, she's saying. And you guys think this is something like an innocent person would say? That seems really guilty to me. Good gracious. She gonna say something now? What? Let me do her voice here. Sorry. So sorry.
There, as I assured the court before, this is of no consequence at all.
Oh, please.
We must remember that this student had just murdered this lady's luncheon companion before her very eyes. Who could blame her for concealing a glass or 2 in her state of disarray?
That's absurd.
Oh, really? So do we take it that you are now going to accuse this vulnerable, young and beautiful woman of mischief?
This is a court proceeding, so yes.
What? No, this can't be put down to mischief.
Yeah, we're talking about murder here. I'd like to know exactly how the lady took the glass from the scene. It would seem that she slipped into a small handbag she was carrying. A handbag, you say? Yes, Your Excellency, a small handheld pouch commonly carried by well-to-do women in England.
So the beautiful lady has very graciously explained how and why she removed the glass from the scene.
It doesn't explain how and why she did it. She was like, "Oh, I just didn't want people to know that I was there." That is a guilty. That is a bad thing. Why would you not want someone to know you're there? That is not something an innocent person says or does.
However, the fact remains that this glass has absolutely no bearing on the case.
How do you know that? Oops. Okay.
This student has been trying to confuse the court with logical reasoning.
Logical reasoning? That's the best you can come up with? Yes, sorry for my logical reasoning.
But in the end, it comes to nothing. No more pretentious accusations. You have wasted enough time already.
Jeez. Fine.
Indeed, the lady has offered a satisfactory explanation as to why she removed this glass.
Is it though? Is it though?
I think henceforth we can consider the matter to have been no bearing on the case.
How do you know that?
Counsel for the defense, are you in agreement? Well, I don't know really.
If you want to pursue this matter further, you're going to need to show that it has some deeper significance.
Yes, you're right. So she took the glass away in her handbag. If there's a deeper significance here, it's...
Oh, the handbag, yeah. Oh yeah, because she said that she couldn't have hid a gun or anything because she didn't have any pockets. But if she had a handbag, then technically she could have had a gun in it.
Wait, the lady put the glass in her handbag, you say?
Yes, do try to keep up. It's already been explained to the court that all English women carry handbags for small items.
Let me see, a little while ago, Miss Brett stated the following. There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. But what she forgot to mention was her handbag, in which it would be perfectly possible to conceal a gun. You're right.
Well done, partner. I had a feeling you'd pick up on that too.
What are you insinuating, you vile blackguard?
It's really very simple. The gunshot was heard when the defendant picked up the gun from the restaurant floor. As he didn't fire that gun, we can deduce there must have been another firearm at the scene. The true murder weapon, if you will.
You can't seriously be suggesting.
Inspector Hosanaga,
Yes.
did you or did you not search Miss Giselle Brett's handbag on the day of the murder?
No, sir. I did not.
As I thought. In other words, another gun, the one that was actually used to kill the professor, could have been hidden in Miss Brett's handbag.
No!
Order, order, order.
What is the meaning of this, Inspector?
The meaning of what, Prosecutor Archie?
Why on earth did you not have the lady open her handbag and show you the contents at the time? Thanks to your bungling incompetence, now she has to endure these uncomfortable accusations.
Brilliant work, partner. Now we have a chance to expose the real woman behind the mask.
You think so, Cosma?
Oh my god. Oh, I forgot about this. He's got he's got something, tuberculosis or something. Ugh. Wipe your mouth. Go to the hospital. Well, what a sorry situation. Clearly, you have no faith in the police. Correct. Moving on. As I said, I did not search the lady's handbag after the shooting. simply because it was unnecessary. Necessary. Oh, is it one of those like mesh ones, like the frilly ones that you can see through or something?
Unnecessary? In what way?
I ought to thank the student lawyer, really. I have a piece of evidence here that I had completely forgotten about. Right. This photographic print. Why didn't you present it to the court? More importantly, why didn't the person that was doing these photographic prints for the police have this for us? For this court session? We should have had that to start with. That's crazy. Okay, so it was see-through. This print is a photograph that I thought would be prudent to take immediately after the shooting. As you can see, it clearly shows Miss Brett's handbag.
Well, I never.
You can see right through to what's inside. Wait a second, what's that? Is that a birthmark? A tattoo? Looks like a little cow. It's cute. Weird though. That's right. Apparently mesh work bags like these are the height of fashion in London at the moment.
So the contents are clearly visible.
Exactly, so there was no need to search the lady's handbag. If there had been a gun inside, it would have been immediately obvious. As you can see, there's nothing to imply Miss Brett's guilt here. Thank you for helping to prove that, Norohodo-san. This ain't over. Norohodo, get up.
Order! Order! Inspector Osanaga, you will submit that print as evidence at once.
Certainly, Your Excellency. The photograph of the handbag has been entered into court record. Okay.
I think you've had long enough to cross-examine the witness, counsel.
We didn't even get to finish!
The court has now been shown considerable evidence. As the photographic print just submitted into the court record appears to have no further significance, I am satisfied that there is no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling.
Indeed, and there is only one logical conclusion. That the pathetic rookie slumped over the bench before us is the only possible perpetrator of this crime.
Come on, Norohodo. It's not over.
No. Just when I thought I was beginning to turn things around, I'm in a worse situation than I was at the start.
Even Kazuma?
Kazuma?
I'm sorry, Rinosuke. Now that the cross-examination of the witness is over, there's no way to force the trial to continue.
What? You mean this is it?
I must say you put up quite a fight for a rookie student, but the weak are meat while the strong eat. You are wasting your time. There is no way to defeat true justice. In fact, you could chew on to your heart's content from the inside of your cell.
This can't be happening. Am I really going to be found guilty of a crime that I didn't commit? And Kazuma, his dream of going to study in Great Britain will slip through his fingers. Kazuma,
What?
is there really no chance now of turning this trial around?
You heard the judge. There's nothing about the last photograph the detective produced that we can contest. That's not actually true.
Which means there's no basis on which we can argue. Wait, which means there's no basis on which we can argue for the trial to continue. Very well, I will now proceed immediately to the ruling.
It seems we'll be able to report to the British government on time after all.
That smug little. Runosuke Naruhodo, having considered all... Oh, he's got something. Our boy's got something.
Wait, Your Excellency.
Runosuke?
I don't think you can rule on this case yet.
Objection. This amateurishness is getting tedious. When His Excellency deems that the trial is over, he gives his ruling. That is the most basic protocol of the courtroom.
Yes, Your Excellency. Just a moment ago, you said this. As the photographic print just submitted appears to have no further significance, there is no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling. Now, that means that if there was a problem with the evidence, some significant detail, I mean, then ruling on the case at this time would be out of the question.
Objection. This is blatant straw clutching. Look at this photographic print. All it shows is the handbag the gentlewoman was carrying on the day in question. There can be no problem with this evidence.
You'd better know what you're doing, Runosuke. And I do. I think he's gonna talk about the tattoo or whatever that mark is. Because, like, it's weird that it's there, that we can see it through the picture, to be honest. I understand your objection, counsel. Certainly. The new evidence submitted by the detective has not undergone the court's scrutiny. However, I fail to see how we can glean any new information from this handbag. Not the handbag.
Ha, my thoughts exactly. Really, the prosecution has become tired of this rookie's desperate wheezes.
Yes. I am desperate, but this isn't a wheeze. There's something about this photograph which just doesn't seem right. If only I could put my finger on it.
Very well, I will grant the defense one final opportunity.
What?
But be warned that if I am unsatisfied by your response here, the trial will be over with immediate effect. Do I make myself clear?
Yes, Your Excellency.
So, take another look at this photographic print Inspector Hosinaga submitted before. You will identify for the court where in this print we see the significant detail to which you have alluded. It has to be this. Like, I don't know, like, they're showing this in this picture, like, this is something weird, so I'm gonna go with this.
Yes. Look at this here. There is a very unusual mark on the victim's wrist.
That is true. It looks almost like a burn of some description. Oh, it's a burn. Oh, that changes everything. Wait a second here. Examine. There it is. I think I get it. So the problem is that, you know, when they serve these kinds of things at like restaurants and like family restaurants, like the inside part is super hot. So the issue here is that why was his hand on it long enough to where he got a burn? Like most people, like if you get burned or like you get like a slight burn, you're like, your instinct is to just like move your hand. But first of all, why was it in front of him? And second of all, even if it was in front of him, why didn't he move his hand away? Unless he couldn't. Which would mean that he was either already dead when it happened, or he couldn't move for some reason.
Interesting. I guess we're gonna see where this goes, because I'm still a little confused, but we'll see where he's gonna take this. Aha!
Objection. Dear me, I was pondering what new piffle you would come out with. A burn, you say, on the victim's wrist? Clearly that has nothing to do whatsoever to do. That has nothing whatsoever to do with the magnificent lady's handbag.
I don't know, guys. Yes, that is a burn mark. You're right. Go on, Inspector. The police coroner has also noticed it when he was performing the post-mortem examination. Great. Why wasn't it on the post-mortem examination exactly? Because I read it, and it didn't say anything about the burn mark, so, looking at the police some kind of way. It was deemed unrelated to the case of death, so he didn't note it on his report. You still gotta note it, though.
What did I tell you?
What do you mean of no relevance? It's a fresh burn.
In any case, we have no idea when the victim suffered this burn, do we? And no possible way of knowing either.
That's not true. The more I look at it, the more I find myself intrigued by the curious shape of this mark. However, as Prosecutor Ouchie points out, unless a firm connection to the case can be shown, I cannot allow any further time to be spent on the precise details of this burn. Excuse me, Your Excellency. It would seem Miss Brett has a lunch appointment with the Dean and the other university staff. She would like to know if she may be excused from the stand now.
Oh, of course, dear lady. We shan't hold you up any longer. I'm quite sure His Excellency is about to give his final ruling anyway.
What's your thinking on this, Rinosuke? Do you believe this burn does have something to do with the case?
To be honest, I'm not really sure. But if I don't keep pushing, then it's all over. So I was thinking, I should keep digging and digging, in the hope that I might uncover something useful.
Yes, you're right.
I am?
If we can just link the burn to the case, if we can do that, we might be able to price this shutting door back open again.
Just give up, Counsel. You can't possibly hope to do that.
Indeed, I'm afraid that without evidence, I can't allow you to pursue what is little more than conjecture.
But if we had the evidence? Evidence that irrefutably linked the burn on the victim's wrist to the case, then you would allow it?
I would, yes.
To tell the truth, I hadn't noticed that burn. But as soon as you pointed it out, what I did notice was the color draining from Miss Brett's face.
Really? I have to find some link between that burn and the case. This is the moment of truth. It's time to find some evidence that proves what that burn really means.
So then, the defense will now present its evidence to the court. The evidence that demonstrates an inextricable connection between the victim's burn and this trial. This...
What's this, Counsel? Yet another print. Yes, Your Excellency. I believe photographic prints are an amazing invention. When we humans look at a scene, we miss things. But in a photograph, things we may have overlooked at the time are recorded forevermore.
Do hurry up, Rookie. What are you trying to say? To inconvenience this poor lady any further really would be quite inexcusable.
Actually, we may need you to stay with us a little longer, if you don't mind, Miss Brett. You see, it's very clearly visible in this other photograph. How did the victim come to have that unusually shaped burn on his wrist? The reason is recorded here, forevermore.
What? How?
Objection. You can't fool me with your little bluffs, boy. Is that your game? Then let's see how it plays out. Show the court exactly what you mean.
That's simple.
What is in this photograph that explains the reason for the victim's burn?
Yeah, it will be right here.
The beefsteak.
Actually, the point is the metal plate the steak was served on. The plate. Oh.
Your Excellency, are you alright?
As you can see, there's an emblem on the plate. I would guess it's some sort of trademark of Le Carnival. This emblem on the plate. And the victim's burn are exactly the same shape.
Ah,
Ryunosuke, you genius. You're spot on.
which me.
Wait,
Which means the victim must have suffered this burn while he was present at the restaurant.
that's right, Ryunosuke, you go get him.
Objection. But even if that is the case, we can't know if it happened on the day in question or not. It could have been the day before, or the day before that. It's most likely happened at some other unrelated time.
Well,
Objection. Sadly, Prosecutor Ouchie, the chances of that are extremely slim.
thanks.
Why?
The outline of the burn is clearly discernible. Such a serious injury would have caused quite a commotion in the restaurant. Wouldn't you agree, Inspector Hosonaga? I can't imagine having missed such a terrible disaster, certainly.
But
I would say, looking at the picture of the wound, that it wasn't suffered very long ago. And although it's not a particularly large burn, it's extremely well defined, as the defense just pointed out. This was no mild burn, that's for sure. Exactly, it would have hurt a lot. Which is quite interesting. Nothing like he didn't yell out or anything. Like you would have.
Can you be more specific, Inspector?
Well, let's see. If the plate was at around 90 degrees centigrade, a burn like that would have taken around 3 seconds. It's inconceivable that the victim wouldn't have let out a scream of pain then. I've been investigating at the restaurant for several weeks already. I've not heard anyone scream at all. As the head waiter of the Carnival, I can testify to that without hesitation.
But you're a detective, not a waiter.
Well, he was a waiter. Undercover. He is a detective, but he was undercover as a waiter.
There you have it. Something isn't right there. As the detective said, anyone who burnt themselves on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds would scream in pain. There's no question of that.
And yet Inspector Hosonaga never heard the professor scream. Not on that day, or any before it.
That's right. And the strange thing is, on the day he was shot, I didn't hear him cry out either.
What are you suggesting?
Well, if the professor had carelessly laid his wrist on the plate for anything like 3 seconds that day,
That would be beyond careless, I think, Counsel.
then the rest of us in the restaurant, myself, the sergeant, and the old antiques dealer, all of us would, without any question, have heard him scream. Wouldn't you agree, Prosecutor Ouchie?
Well, yes, I suppose.
So the question is, why didn't a single person hear Dr. Wilson scream?
I almost don't believe it. Ryunosuke, do you think...
Can it really be true? I never dreamt we'd arrive at a conclusion like this, but I'm starting to think that maybe We've been led into a terrible trap. There's only one explanation I can think of to make sense of this apparent impossibility. On the day in question, when he suffered the burn to his wrist, Dr. Wilson
Was already deceased, I think.
No man could remain silent while his wrist was burning on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds. That's clearly impossible. Apart from one in particular situation. Counsel, are you suggesting? Yes. It's only possible if the man was already dead.
Already.
Dead?
Uh-oh, Miss Brett's angry.
Knowing what we know now, it's the only possible explanation. When the beefsteak was brought to Dr. Wilson's table that day, the professor was already dead.
That's madness.
Wow. I like how, like, Naruhodo's, like, the bangs on his table, like, actually make, like, noise now. Because he's, like, he has more conviction now.
Order, 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 please. Counsel, explain this absurd notion at once. The victim was killed by a gunshot.
That's right. That's absolutely right, Your Excellency. This is just another ridiculous ploy by the rookie student, but clearly he has no grasp of the facts.
Objection. No, Prosecutor Ouchie. It's you who has no grasp of the facts.
I beg your pardon.
As soon as it became apparent that the victim had suffered that burn while at the restaurant, this whole case was turned upside down. Or have you not grasped that yet? Your Excellency, the court must hear from this witness again. If it's true, as we now believe, that the victim was already dead before the gunshot was heard, it's highly likely that Miss Brett knows something about it.
Incredible. I certainly didn't anticipate this twist of events. I'm sorry to say, Miss Brett, that you will have to forget your luncheon engagement.
But Your Excellency,
Well, what do you have to say for yourself, Miss Brett?
The justice system in our country may be in its infancy, but rest assured, all reasonable doubt must be dispelled before I'm prepared to pass judgment. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Ready to speak a language we can all understand now? Oh, is she gonna speak?
What was that smile?
Yes, of course. I mean, I'd be delighted to help. Especially if it helps relations between my country and yours.
She does speak Japanese.
Miss Brett, you speak Japanese?
Well, of course I do. I am studying in your country after all.
But then why have you been speaking through an interpreter until now?
My mother tongue, the Queen's English, is the most refined and elegant language in the world. As a gentlewoman, I try to avoid speaking in your vulgar tones as much as possible.
Wow, racist.
Damn.
Yeesh.
But it seems that men in this land possess none of the chivalrous virtues of English gentlemen. So I can see that I shall have to lower myself to communicating with you all on your own level.
Well, you are the epitome of a true English gentlewoman. We are truly honored by this lavish consideration you so graciously afford us.
I see. In that case, Miss Brent, I will now ask you to testify in your own words. In your own words. About the events leading up to the death of the victim. The death of the victim, Dr. Wilson.
So, we're finally going to hear her own words on the matter. Things are getting interesting, Ryunosuke. I think this will be a good place to stop. I know, I don't want to stop, actually. Like, I want to keep playing, but time is up. But I can't wait until next time. We're finally gonna, and excuse my French, we're finally gonna get this bitch. She's going to jail. You are going to prison. And we're gonna make it happen. So, with that, I'll see you guys next time.